Hey guys, this is a production of the J&J Media, brought to you by Minute Peach Framing Designs and Gift Shops. What's up guys? This is the J&J Sports Talk. I'm your host, Jordan Dorosic, and I got my co-host here, John Freeman. My other co-host is Thomas Kowick, and we're going to be introducing our first guest of the show, of the podcast. I'm very excited to see him and hear what he's got to say about everything. So we're going to give you a little taste of what he's had in the broadcasting field. So let's go see what he's got.
Billy shooting down.
Oh, look at this, man. Look at this. Going in a tunnel turn. Mike RPM going to make the pass for the lead on Slade. Slade makes contact with Billy. And he's going to make the pass. Slade going to make the pass.
Oh, high lining up.
Titans on the power move.
3 wide in the back.
Oh, this is crazy. Eagles on the outside.
Ooh. Scraping the walls.
Oh, man. White flag out. 1 lap to go.
Go.
If the caution comes out, it's over, look.
What's up, Shady? How are we doing today? Shady, you got a copy?
I got you, man. How you doing tonight? I'm doing great, brother. How about yourself, Jay?
Pretty good. Welcome to have you on the show. We're excited.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm really excited to be here tonight, man. I've been listening to you guys. You guys put on a heck of a show, so it's a pleasure to be here tonight. Talk to you guys for a little bit, hang out with you.
Yes, sir. We've been good buddies for a while, so it's been good to have you as the first guest on the show. So, how we doing, John?
Just here so I don't get fined. No, I'm doing good. How are you, Jwow?
Not bad. I guess we'll introduce Clashin. What's up, Clash? That's about normal.
I'm half here, in and out, but I'm here.
Yeah, he'll be lagging in and out of the show, so that's normal. But yeah, let's get started. Let's get to know Shady a little bit. So, tell us about yourself, Shady. What do you do?
Oh, I work on boats. I work at a marina. I work on boats. Yeah, I work on boats. I work at a marina. I've been at a marina. I've been a fisherman for a long time. So now in my older age, I just work on boats and fix them up and that kind of thing, and have a lot of fun doing it. And from out of Annapolis, Maryland, so out here on the East Coaster. So, kind of yeah.
Well, okay. So what got you started into the broadcasting side of NASCAR heat and all that?
Well, that's interesting enough. I mean, when I started, the online racing in the NASCAR heat, and it was with with FTR, and I started with FTR, and they just needed a broadcaster, and they said, hey, would you be interested in doing it? And I said, yeah, hey, I'll give it a whirl. I'll give it a try. And so I hooked up the stream. I linked the stream in my YouTube, the Shady Acres Entertainment, and just started it and found that I just had a knack for it, and it's a lot of fun. I have a blast doing it. I have a lot of fun doing it, and watching you guys race, and calling them, and just have a lot of fun doing it. And it, over the past 2 years, I guess, got a lot of positive reviews about it, and it has just, so it kind of took off. Things just kind of took off. I didn't realize how fast things kind of would take off and how big the community was. And then all of a sudden, different leagues were like, hey, can you do us? Can you do us? Can you do us? And it was like, okay, well, I kind of had a lot on my plate. It kind of took off faster than I thought or realized. So, just kind of did certain ones and just keep on doing it, and doing the Valor Racing League for you Pro League guys this season, for the Pocono Racing Series, Valor.
We're no Pro League guys over here. We're semi-pros.
Whatever. Come on. Yeah.
The Pro League guys have the Pro League tag on them. We're just some casual racers that happen to be fast.
Oh yeah, yeah, like okay, the super fast,
Yeah, well,
But
I like to call myself a semi-pro since they don't have no pro league anymore.
well, in my eyes and in many eyes of many around the community and multiple leagues, it's pro. So hey, you call it what you want. I mean, in so many in my eyes, it's pro league. I don't care what anybody says. That's pro league. But anyway, I love watching you guys. I have a blast doing it. I just learn actually a lot. Just by watching and watching you guys race and the strategies and everything that you guys put onto it. It's actually really really intense and just it's a blast, man. It's a lot of fun, a lot of fun.
Yeah, we appreciate you for broadcasting all our races on any leagues that we do. We're actually going to start broadcasting y'all's races now for the leagues that you run, which we're very excited to start. I think we're starting it next week. That's on Thursdays, correct?
That's on Thursday. Yeah, the Xfinity League for Hammer Down. And I tell you what, man, those guys are really excited, really really excited. Yeah, you guys coming on board and doing our Xfinity series on Thursday nights at 9:30. Those guys are really really excited because they've known about you guys. They know the names, and so actually being able to have you guys come on and they've been trying to get the network and trying to get out there and kind of be seen, and it's a lot of fun. It brings a different kind of competitiveness when you have eyes watching you with a broadcast and a good broadcasting company and a good broadcasting crew like you guys, coming on board. So those guys are really, really excited and fired up, and it's making them even more competitive because they want to do well, for you guys coming in to do the broadcasting. So they want to put on a good show and put on a good impression to almost kind of like impress you because they know how good you guys are. So they kind of want to try to impress you guys, being in the booth. So it's going to be a lot of fun, man. We couldn't appreciate you guys enough for coming on board and really doing us a huge favor over there, Hammer Down, and we're really jacked up for it, brother. We're really really excited for it.
Yeah, we're excited as well too. Well, let's get this show started off. We're gonna start talking about a little bit of NASCAR. Let's start talking about we have Talladega, Texas, Tuesday takeaways. So we had Chase Elliott winning the race. My boy Chase Elliott got the pick. I knew he was gonna win. I knew he was gonna get it done. I don't know.
Big win.
I haven't been that excited after a win since I would say probably the 2015 Martinsville race for when Jeff Gordon won his final race there. I was like, go Chase, go! I was beating on the bed. I was just trying to get him to the finish line because that finish line's so far out there, and I was like, there's no way he's gonna get past. Something's always gonna happen, but he got it done. It was good racing. We didn't have no big one other than that. I think it was like a 5 or 6 car pileup with Stenhouse and Burton. So other than that, it was fairly clean. What would you say so, Mclovin?
Yeah, I enjoyed the race, honestly, man. I think this all three races in general were probably the cleanest plate races I've seen in a while, if not a couple of years. That was textbook plate racing, and I'm glad we could see something like that. And to be able to finish the race pretty much clean at the line is very impressive, considering how these guys usually like the race for wins nowadays with the winning you're in. And I know it's already playoffs, but the winning you're into the next round. And I'm surprised I almost thought, knowing what Blaney did to Eric Jones a few years ago at Dega for the win, I was like, oh, he might do it the chase, but nah, they're too good of friends. Yeah. And speaking of Eric Jones, he was he was Chase's hero in that race. He did a hell of a push down that last lap. That was insane.
Yeah, he did him a huge favor by just staying hooked up to his bumper, and never let him go until coming off about turn 4, and by the time it was just too late for him to even get back up there. It was a crazy finish for sure. Would you say so, Shady?
I thought it was an awesome finish. Mclovin pretty much hit the nail on the head, man. I mean, all 3 series. I mean, even the that exciting finish in the Xfinity on Saturday, that led up into the Sunday, and I mean, on that last lap, I didn't think Chase would have a chance. I didn't think that he was able to get a run like that, and he
Why
got
wouldn't you
that
think he
push
didn't have a chance?
because he was so far back. I didn't think he was going to get the momentum. The inside line had such a line behind him. I thought there was going to be too much energy and too much momentum on that bottom line that he didn't have enough energy behind him to get that kind of a push. I didn't, when you saw him kind of back up and kind of what they were showing on the screen, how he backs up and then he waited for Jones to get on his bumper and then floored it and got that run. I mean, it was really incredible to me. I mean, I knew he was going to get a top five, but when he pulled around on that tri-oval. The more that they came off a turn four to the tri-oval, the more you see him creeping up, and you're like, okay, he gonna get this, and he sure as heck got it, man.
Oh, he definitely
That was
got
an
it.
awesome finish, man.
Oh, he got it 100%. It was he's locked into the round of eight, going into the Roval stretch free, which yeah, we're gonna have a good Roval race.
Which
Uh,
honestly, oh sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
no,
off, but
you're good.
honestly, I really think that was a win Chase needed because over the last 2 months, I would say it's been a very big struggle for him. A lot of stuff hasn't went his way, and he's had some bad performances out that. And to get that win out of the way, people don't realize is actually very important because if he wouldn't have got that win, he would have been near the cut line going into the Roval, which is never a give me. Look at last year.
Yeah, he messed with the wrong people, and then he's just gonna get kicked in the wall like last time. But if he does get kicked in the wall, he's probably gonna get a concussion. But you know how hard these cars getting hit, so. Well, yeah, that's a big topic. I've been hearing this on the Sirius XM radio for NASCAR, and like I've been hearing all these hosts talk about how they don't like Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott going out and talk about the dirty laundry. They're talking about like NASCAR's not doing nothing. We're going in the wrong direction. We're going backwards in safety, and they're saying it's putting a bad spotlight on the brand, which I disagree. If nothing's getting done and NASCAR's not coming out to you and you're going out to them talking about like, hey, these hits are way harder than what before, and nothing's getting done. What if you talk about to the press, to the media, saying, hey, these cars, NASCAR's not doing anything about these cars, and I feel like since all this media is coming up, it's putting pressure on NASCAR to actually do something towards getting these cars safer.
I would agree, man. I mean, you kind of almost kind of get the feeling like, how that kind of saying is that, a hundred, 99 people will say that intersection needs a traffic light, but they won't do it until that 100th person gets killed, and then they put up the traffic light. I
Yep.
almost kind of had that feeling where, Denny Hamlin and these guys are kind of speaking out, saying, "Hey, there's an issue here," kind of screaming and nobody's hearing them type deal. I don't know. That's kind of almost like the kind of feeling I kind of get a little bit that, they're kind of screaming in a loud room.
What do you think about it, Mclovin?
I would agree. I don't agree if I with the safety features. I've always agreed they need to be better. We can get into like the tires at a different time. Because I think that's more of a inconsistency on Goodyear's part, but also mixed with the setup, and we can get into that later. Um, but with the safety of the cars, I think that's 100% need to be taken account for and fixed. And I know they're doing some crash testing this week. I don't know if you saw that tweeted by Bob Pockris
Yep,
and
in Ohio.
Justin Marks and all them, but
Mm-hmm.
hopefully they can start figuring out what they need to do. And I think they're talking about the back end of the car actually being replaced to actually absorb some more contact. Um, so that would be good. I remember I think it was this last week going in the Dega. Kyle Larson said, and I mean this is a guy that drives quarter midgets, some of the dangerous cars you can hop in. And he said himself that he feels it's more dangerous to be in a cup car than a quarter midget right now, and he thinks that's kind of ironic, considering over all these years, NASCAR drivers or NASCAR owners didn't want you in other cars because they felt they were unsafe.
Yes.
So the fact that he feels safer to run in a open wheel quarter midget than he does a NASCAR car is kind of insane to think about.
Very, yeah,
So
very insane.
they
So,
really need to get it looked at.
so Clashin, with these cars being so as stiff as they are, what would they need to do to maybe fix the problem? Would you think they need to soften the bumpers up, soften the front end up, or some? It has to do something in the driver's seat.
You're asking me this question? I mean,
I'm asking you
I
this
don't
question.
know.
I'm a damn host.
I mean, I haven't been in this whole conversation the whole time. But you're asking me this question.
well, you
But
don't
I don't
have
really.
the conversation because you weren't in the Discord.
Well, I don't know what they could do. I
Just
mean,
come
they
and
can make
go
it
as you
where
want.
the rear end isn't as stiff. I mean, I feel like that's the only thing they can do is just make it where you back into the wall, you just take more damage. I mean, that's the only thing they can do. Maybe do what like the NFL's doing, design a new helmet or something.
If they could make it more like the Xfinity car, and I know they went to the composite body like the Xfinity car, but I feel like they made these cars too indestructible, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if they could try to match the Xfinity car, that'd be better. Because if you notice the Xfinity car, you can beat and bang, you can race, you can hit the wall a couple times and still compete. But also, these cars are able to absorb impact and take it away from the drivers. And anyone that's watched the Saturday races knows this. And I think that's a good fine line in between what we had with the Gen 6 car and the next gen car. And I think if we can get to whatever format they had for the Xfinity cars, I think that's a good spot to have these next gen cars be at when it comes to build quality. Like, I just feel like that'd be perfect, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because we're talking about how hard these cars can take an impact and still keep going, but like you barely touch the rear of these cars and that toe link just breaks like so easily. So that's I don't know if there's gonna build something to go with the toe link. Maybe it won't break as easily when they hit the wall or something to soften up there. But yeah, we'll move on into we'll talk. You weren't here last week to talk about the Byron Hamlin penalty. Byron had that 25-point penalty after Texas Motor Speedway. So, do you still think it was a harsh penalty, or since they're going to the appeal this week, do you think they're going to lessen the penalty or do something about it?
In my opinion, Jwow, and a lot of people don't like my opinion. I've talked to people about this. I think the penalty's perfectly fine. You just caused Denny Hamlin over 10 points doing what you did. I mean, and he didn't really have damage to his car. It was a slight accident. It wasn't on purpose. And it's one thing if you get retaliation during green. It's another thing that wrecks someone under caution. You know, most of these drivers actually loosen their seatbelts under caution, right? They do it all the time to readjust. That is a safety issue. 25 points, I think, is about accurate what it should have been. And I also think that William Byron needs to be smarter in that situation, knowing he's running for a championship. That's just how I feel. I think Denny Hamlin obviously raced Byron hard off that corner, but I don't think he did anything intentional. You could see he was trying to get off the throttle, and I think Byron just overreacted. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm completely fine with the penalty.
I feel like he did overreact a little bit. His intention was to. I think his intention was not to wreck him, just to give him a bump. But that bump was just way too hard, and it comes with consequences. It comes with a 25-point penalty. My opinion, if it does succeed in the appeal board, maybe they lessen the penalty at best, 10, maybe 15-point penalty. But that's the best that I could see, because I believe. Let me see. I have my standings cards over here. All right, so yeah.
He's first
Byron.
person out right now, 9th. Right?
10th. Cindric is at the cut line. Cindric and Briscoe are tied at the cut line, but Chase Briscoe gets the tiebreaker. But William Byron's in 10th, 11 points below the cut line. So if you take 10 points off that thing, that you're negative 1 point off that cut line. So that's what I'd feel like would be maybe the best approach going into this penalty if it were to succeed. But Mr. H, he seemed pretty confident that it was gonna get overturned. If the boss says it, then it may get overturned.
Here's the thing with getting overturned. Then you're setting a bad precedent. So what's another guy to go out there last race before the championship race, and they're 10 points out of getting to the final four, and they see the guy in front of them, and they're going to caution and be like, "Oops, didn't mean to spin him." Knock him out of the way. There's your 10 points. I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, it sets a very bad precedent.
You got to know when the line is a line.
That's
I
what I'm
was
saying.
just thinking that because with that incident, NASCAR was forced to take action and make an example of Byron. Because if you don't, then just like you were saying, I mean, if you don't set that precedent and make a stiff penalty, then you got two other series. You got Xfinity and Truck Series watching this and saying, okay, well, if he only got, I don't know, let's just say they only got 10-point penalty. Then a guy, next week, an Xfinity driver gets, ticked off, Ty Gibbs and Meyer get ticked off at each other again.
You gotta say Ty Gibbs.
He's
a good guy.
And to him, he's like, oh, well, 10 points isn't nothing to me. And, it can go wreck him, So NASCAR's hand was kind of forced to make an example, I think. And I think you're absolutely right, Mclovin, as far as setting a precedent that if they overturn it, then that sets that precedent for other appeals down the road in the future for other series as well.
Yeah, it would definitely set the line right there, and then somebody else would do it even worse, and they'd be like, well, he got away with it. Why can't I get away with it? Yeah. Right. Let's see. We got the Q&A session. We got a Q&A session by the fans, sponsored by minandpeach.com. All right, so we're gonna go with question number 1. Come from a fan who sponsored us, Mr. Inniltown from Canada. His question was submitted. He said, "Why are the hits that seem so minor are hard hits in the driver's seats?"
Who's going first? Does it matter?
We'll go with Clashin. We'll go with Clashin first.
Oh, me again?
Yeah,
I didn't even raise my hand.
We're going with the wrecking specialist Clashin here.
I don't wreck. What are you talking about?
Oh, you're crashing Clashin, dude.
I don't know, because I feel like the cars are designed to, like, when you wreck hard, to be the safest, but even do these minor wrecks are gonna hurt a little. I don't know. I feel like when you hit something going 150, it's more force, so it's taking more energy out. But if you hit something lightly, it doesn't like damage the car enough to even like lessen the force. I think that's why the lesser hits hurt more.
Is the same thoughts, Shady?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think it depends really on the nature of the actual contact itself. I mean, last week, I think it was on Race Hub, they were showing the in-car camera of Alex Bowman's crash and the impact that, he had, with his head. And it was violent. It was really violent, so I think it depends on the nature of the crash, the angle, where the incident happened, how it happened, what they hit, where they hit it on the track, and where they hit it on the car. So I don't think it's so much the fact of a harder crash versus a softer crash. I think it's the nature of the crash itself, as far as where the crash actually occurred on the track, on the car, and all the elements that go into the actual incident.
11?
I agree with both Clashin and Shady. I think a lot of it, if you've noticed in a lot of these wrecks, it's when they're hitting the tail end of the car. I don't think it's the only issue, but I think just making these cars a little bit softer will absorb some of those G-forces and make it a lot easier on these hits. I think Clashin is right about, it seems like the slower the car is going, the more vicious the hits seem to be. And I think it's because the cars have no give. So, I mean, with these harder hits, you're kind of just, like, it's absorbing. It's going so hard, you're still going to absorb, the car is still going to absorb some of that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Compared to a smaller hit where maybe if you're only going 150, like Clash said, that car is not really caving in at all because it's not going quick enough, and the driver's absorbing all of that at one time. So I think Shady and Clash both got good points there.
All right, so I got a question for you. Do you feel like NASCAR is going backwards in safety, or at a halt? Because the people on Sirius XM, the hosts, even Larry Mack, they would say, we've never gone backwards. Even with this car, it has built off of previous crashes and stuff like that. But yet, my opinion is we've had 2 drivers with concussions out this week. When was the last time we had a good driver out with a concussion? To recent memory, I feel like it was Dale Jr. Well, that was 2017.
I don't believe you're right.
I don't think that I don't necessarily think we're going backwards. Depends on your term about how you want to say it. I think NASCAR and the teams, they both wanted to rush this car out with the manufacturer. And I think it was undone car, an undone product.
And they
And the
even
drivers, some of
budgeted
the
a year.
drivers were saying that, yes. But the teams have to take some blame. They've said, like, you can go look this up. They are not all in the clear. The teams didn't listen to the drivers the way they needed to. NASCAR was forced by the manufacturers to get this car out. I think there's a lot of people to blame for this situation. I don't think NASCAR is trying to hurt these drivers, but once you get into a season, you can't just completely rebuild a car overnight. It's going to take this whole off season to get it corrected. So really, I mean, their only options were run it how it is or end the season, because you can't just fix an entire car and how it's going to wreck overnight. It's just not a possibility.
Yeah, like I think Denny Hamlin said, where they're trying to test stuff out now to maybe get that product out later 2023, maybe beginning of 2024 season, because you got to get the same vendors doing the same
Yep.
parts and pieces to every single team, and you have 36 cars out there, and you gotta get it going, and every single team has multiple cars they need to get to on the track every single week.
Yeah, and if they make one change to the car, that vendor's got to rebuild a whole new part. You know what I'm saying? And a
Yeah.
whole different spec. I mean, like I said, NASCAR deserves some blame, but so do the teams for pushing this car out probably a year earlier, and it should have been for not listening to the drivers. But at the same time, you can't expect NASCAR to fix it overnight. It's just not a possibility. So I mean, I don't think they're going out. They're not purposely trying to hurt these drivers and put them in these cars that are just you're absorbing all this impact. I think it was something where the car wasn't ready. They should have waited another year, and they didn't. And now they got to deal with the consequences in the meantime. It's just what I feel.
100% agreed. So we'll go to our next question from Bayrat from Texas. Which playoff drivers will go for stage points, and which ones will flip the stages? I think Byron has to go for stage points since he's minus 11 on the cutoff.
I think Briscoe and Cindric both go for stages as well, because I think they're good enough for road courses to drive their way back on the top 10, top 15, and they're going to just guard for whatever Byron does.
Yeah, we have Briscoe and Cindric right on the cut. Oh, Cindric's over the cut line. You go to 5th, 6th, and 7th. You got Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, and Daniel Suarez. Joey's plus 18 on the cut line. Kyle Larson's plus 18 as well. Daniel Suarez plus 18. Byron,
I think
that's 11 points to gain. I don't know if that's.
I think Byron's going to go for stage points because I think he thinks it might be an option, unless the other guys failed as well and they're ahead of him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With Larson and who else did you say ahead of him? Logano.
Joey
I think
Logano.
I think Logano. I think he goes for stage points because he has all season. And I don't think he's fast enough at road courses to think he compete for the win. Larson, he's usually a top 2 or 3 guy. I think he'll go for the race win, considering he should be like if he does what he normally does at road courses, he'll be a top 3 threat every week, every time. So I think he's not really worried about points. Logano, I think he's just going to probably try to get playoff points if possible by staying out in the stages. Byron, it's going to depend on what the guys do in front of him. If they pit, he's going to stay out, vice versa. Because that's who he's racing. It's really going to be him, Cindric, and Briscoe, right? They're the only ones very close in points.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be tough for Byron to beat him on speed. You're talking about 2 great road racers themselves, in Briscoe and Cindric. So we're going to see, but I don't know, man. If I'm Byron, I'm going for the points or doing whatever the opposite of what Cindric and Briscoe do is.
What's your thoughts on it, Shady? You think Byron's going to go for more of the win, start pitting 2 to go, 3 to go at the stages so he can set himself in for the winning position at the final stage?
I think that he's going to go to. I think his strategy is going to be what is going to give me the maximum points, basically. I mean, especially with the penalty, what is going to get? Where is his track position? Coming up onto the stage ends or wherever he's at in the stage. What is going to get him, or if I'm Byron and I'm saying what's going to give me the maximum number of points, and that's what he's going to go for. He has to. I mean, you can't. I mean, he has no room for error. His margin of error is none. He has no choice but to gain as many points as he can. It's same with kind of Cindric and Briscoe, where they're right there, teetering, on that cut line. So they got to play it effective as what's going to give me the maximum number of points to stay in this thing. Whereas Logano and Hamlin, the guys in the top 5, they have room to play. They have room for error, so they can make different decisions. But if you're in that back half and you're Byron, whatever's going to get the maximum number of points, that's what he's got to go with.
Do you agree with that, Clash?
Yeah. I mean, stage 1, I don't think there's much strategy. It's just race it out because, I mean, you either don't take stage points in stage 1 so you get them in stage 2, or you get them in stage 1 and then try to win a race in stage 3. But I think it's whatever. Like, if Byron wins stage 1 and he's going to get stage points even if he does pit in stage 2, I think that's probably what he'll do, is go for the race win if he gets stage points in stage 1 over Cindric and Chase.
That was my point. I think his whole strategy is going to rely on how he races compared to Briscoe and Cindric.
Yeah, he needs to set it up. I feel like he's gonna have to feel it out for the first stage. If he sees himself going up through the field, getting up to the top 5, he's like, okay, so he sees Cindric back in outside of the points. And by the time everybody pits, he's like, okay, I know I can get the X amount of points on this stage, maybe X amount of points this next stage. And if I finish ahead of him by this X amount of points, I could get ahead of him. But if first stage, it could all get ruined in the first stage, and his track position is terrible, and he's just going to have to force himself to go for that win in stage 3. Yeah.
I have another point. So Mclovin said Larson is going to be a top 3 here. And Chase is usually pretty good at road courses. So what if Byron takes to stage 1 points, whatever he gets, and then if he knows he has a winning car, at least running 3rd or 4th, he doesn't take the stage points and he races for the win. Like, if Chase and, like, you've already seen Penske help out Cindric at Bristol, I feel like Chase and Larson would maybe sacrifice a win to let Byron in. I don't know.
No, I don't think they would I don't think they would sacrifice a win, because
You're talking about playoff points into the next round.
If Jeff comes over the radio and says, you got to let this guy.
You got an itchy arm? He's like, oh, yeah, the code word. You got an itchy arm.
We'll give you an extra $20,000 if you just slip up in this corner.
I don't think Chase or Larson are like that to just pull over and let their teammate win like that or get points. If they're in a situation to where, like, how Bristol was, where Joey Logano was pitting to make for a fake wreck, so lap cars that were on the track behind him pass him or made Cindric get more points. I don't know. I just doubt that. I don't see that happening.
If they're racing for the win, I don't see it. Like, let's say Byron's clearly quicker than one of them, and they're running for 3rd or 4th, and they're not going anywhere, then sure, let them by. But that's completely different than racing for a win and be like, all right, we just want you to let this guy by, which could be a penalty by NASCAR. They've said before they want you to race it out. They don't want you just giving your teammates the wins.
I could have swore there was this one year where this is where it was. Yeah. Okay. So 2019, exact thing that Clashin was talking about. Chase Elliott was leading, and Bowman, I think he was outside of the cut line. Chase was winning, and Bowman needed a win to get into the next round. Chase didn't pull over to let Bowman get in or give up his win, even though Chase was already looked like he was good on points, even if he were to finish second. So that's just perfect example right there to answer your question, Clashin. So we'll go on. This is my question. Jordan from Louisiana. Who's going to win the Roval? We'll start with Shady.
Who's going to win the Roval?
And why?
Well, until somebody beats him at that Roval, I got to say Chase Elliott. I mean, just because he's dominated there. It's been his little playground lately. He's absolutely dominated there. Yeah, and just like we were kind of coming off of what we were just talking about, if you have a shot for a win in NASCAR Cup Series, you're gonna get that win. You're gonna take that win. You're not gonna give it up. And even though Chase won this past week at Talladega, I mean, you're still gonna go for. He's still going for that win.
Need playoff points. Those playoff points matter, no matter if it's a stage win, one stage point win, or 5 playoff points. It doesn't matter if you're already locked in or not. Those points are valuable, so you're not going to just pull over for your teammate.
Exactly. And I mean, just like we saw, I don't know, was it last year or the year before that Chase, crashed his head on into the wall and then still dominates the race. I mean, so until somebody beats him, I'm going with Chase Elliott.
Wait, Clashin?
Is he still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
He's thinking.
I like to gamble. I'm gonna go Daniel Suarez.
He did win
Suarez.
Sonoma.
What?
So.
Yeah.
Suarez. Okay,
Yeah.
I got to hear this
Yeah.
explanation.
Yeah, why?
Well, why? Because I don't know. He usually runs decent at road courses. I mean, he's in a little bit of better
good
equipment.
at Sonoma
I
once.
guess. So, you just say there was a certain limit who I could pick. I'm going Daniel Suarez.
All right, Daniel Suarez.
Who knows? It could rain. I mean, the whole field could wreck.
You
You never know.
You can be part of Daniel Suarez's amigos.
Yeah, I'm gonna be an amigo this week.
All right, Mclovin. I don't even want to listen to his explanation anymore, so we'll just go with you.
So I think Chase is obviously the favorite. But I think the two closest to him are going to be. I'm gonna go Larson, but I think the two closest are clearly going to be Reddick and Larson. I mean, Larson won the Roval last year after having a battery issue and starting in the last stage and last. He would have won 2017 race if he didn't get in the wall in that last restart after a late caution. When he was dominating that race.
Turn.
Yeah, but so I mean Larson's usually really quick there. So I'm gonna go Larson, but Reddick finished second to Larson there last year. Reddick's got 2 road course wins this year. So I'm gonna go Larson, but I think outside of Chase, which is the obvious pick because he's so good at road courses, I think you got to go with the next 2 best guys at road courses, which are Larson and Reddick.
So you put in Larson, final answer?
Yep.
All right. I don't have much to say. It's just Chase Elliott. He's that guy. He's the road course king. He's gonna go back to back. He's been the hottest driver this whole season, and I think he's gonna get it done. That's all I gotta say because he's Chase Elliott. I feel like this is the season he's gonna win the championship. That's just he's been in front all year. He had a bad start to the playoffs, but that win, that's all you need. It's just a win to boost it up. I was listening to a spotter, Eddie DeHaan, on his call all the way to the finish line. I never heard Eddie that excited after a win. And I think it's just, this team is just so special. And I think I just got a gut feeling. It's that year. It's just going to be this year. It's going to get it done. So I'm going to go with Chase Elliott winning the Roval.
Spoken like a real Cowboys fan.
Yes, got the Cowboys hat on. Got the.
This is his year.
Oh, guess who won me some money this week? He won me $520 this week. So.
All right, IRS, you better.
And guess what? I'm gonna put some money on. Oh, it depends on the odds. If the odds are very low, I'm not gonna put money on it. But if Chase is like plus 500 or something, I'm putting money on Chase. He's getting it done. Yeah. So we're gonna move on to the next segment, but before we're gonna try to get a word from our sponsor, Minute Peach. Minute Peach Framing Designs and Gift Shops is worldwide on their websites, www.minutepeach.com. That's www.minutepeach.com. They offer something for everyone in their gift store. They have so many gift ideas including baby items, home decor, garage signs, gift for kids, candy, Nintendo items, Harry Potter, Sailor Moon, frames, bereavement items, gnomes, pet items, canvases, art-free walls, and more. They even stock items for every season, including Valentine's Day, Easter, Halloween, and Christmas. They even have gift ideas for Mother's Day and Father's Day. Shop www.minutepeach.com with promo code JJ10 for 10% off your entire store purchase. Support small business with Minute Peach. That's www.minutepeach.com. You'll find something for everyone on your store list. The gift shop was somebody ever refer minutepeach.com at promo code JJ10 and check out for 10% off your entire store purchase. All All right, so that was a quick word from our sponsor, Minute Peach. I want to give them a big shout out. They've been a great sponsor. Yeah, go to the website. They got everything for everybody. All right, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna have a quick take on F1 this weekend. So Sergio Perez, he got the win at Singapore. It's a pretty one-sided race, but main thing is Max Verstappen is closing in on that championship, and yeah, a real championship this time. I don't know about last year.
Hot takes.
Yeah, so he's been a very dominating season. He may get to 13. He just needs 2 more wins, and believe there's like 5 or 4 more races left in the season. So he should be able to get it done. Don't you think so?
Oh, 100%. Max is winning this championship. It would take a catastrophic failure for him not to win it. I mean, he could literally go out there and run 7th every race and win the championship from here. He's just been so dominant.
I think he just needs to show up.
Yeah, pretty much. But
10th maybe.
But Sergio, it's a good run by Sergio, man. He really needed that, being the guy that has to be teammates with Max Verstappen isn't that easy. But I mean, he's got 2 great. Both his wins actually came at street circuits too. I don't know if you know that, Monaco and Singapore. So he's shown he's got some real skill around those kind of tracks. And one in that race was that start. As soon as the lights dropped, went green flag. He beat both Ferraris off the line, and it's so hard to overtake those street courses that once he got out front, he could just. The Ferrari looked a little bit quicker at the beginning of those runs, and they just wore their tires out behind him, and he was just yarding them by 2-3 tenths of the lap after that. I mean, he's just great run.
Yeah, Charles had a little peak after that last caution. He was right behind Perez, and then they let the DRS go back on. But he said it's so hard to pass here. You had to catch him at the right time or just get a mistake. Just like I believe it was Hamilton. He was behind. Can't remember his name, but Hamilton and Verstappen, they were behind him so many laps, and then he goes to make a pass, but it was wet right there. So after the track was wet going into the race, so when everybody's running the same line and you go to try to pass in a non-passing zone, I would say, he just ran straight off the track, and that's what happens. But great win by him.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I don't think you realize how legendary that battle was between Vettel, Hamilton, and Verstappen. That's gonna be after this year 12 championships in one battle.
Yeah,
all there together. It's pretty cool.
That was a great battle. So that was a quick take on that. We're gonna move into football. We have the Dolphins versus the Bengals. I think all 3 of us picked the Dolphins to win, but we were saying that as Tua was gonna stay in the game, but he actually got concussed. I'd say again, back-to-back concussions.
I don't think his concussion ever left. I don't think it ever left, bro.
His fingers was like,
yeah, dude was throwing up gang signs, bro. I was scared. I was like, "What's he repping?" I don't know, man.
It looked like he broke his fingers for it. It was just like.
At first, I was like, "Did he land on his hands?" Like, I didn't know what happened.
Like, oh my god, his fingers are messed up, man.
Yeah. Then Clashin just texted me. He's like, "He's repping my set," and I was like, "Whatever that means." I mean.
Yeah, Clashin, what do you think about we talked about the Tua controversy about him in the last episode, but this was an actual concussion, officially. It wasn't no back or ankle injury this time.
Maybe they have an argument this time. They could at least said he stubbed his finger or something, because there is proof of that. But he shouldn't have played. I don't think he definitely shouldn't have played the second half of 2 weeks ago. And he surely shouldn't have played this week. He's already been ruled out for next week. Well, since next week's bye, so 2 weeks from now.
They did for a little bit. They had a little stretch where they say, if he were to play.
If,
like, if what? That dude died. What are your thoughts on it, Shady?
I mean, honestly, that was really scary. Really, really scary. When his fingers locked up like that, that's obviously a neurological thing, and that's really scary. But just like we're going back to last week against the previous week when he was when they were playing the Bills, and you could see him when he got up and he was stumbling, and he almost fell back. He almost fell down stumbling. You could see his motor skill, his motor physicality, motor skills, whatever, just weren't firing. They just weren't clicking. Something was wrong. Something was at a miss. I agree with Clash 100%. And pretty much the rest of the NFL world and the rest of the football world in general, no way he should have played. No freaking way. No freaking way. Not after what I saw, against the Bills. I mean, there's something there, but but either way, he did play, and it got worse. And I mean, we have no idea what the actual medical situation is with him, but sure hoping that he's okay with that, because that was really, really scary when you see somebody's hands lock up like that. That's a straight serious damage to the brain, which, I mean, there's no playing with that. So that was really scary to see, and it shouldn't have happened. It really shouldn't have happened. He shouldn't have been out on that field, but it is what it is, and now they got to deal with it. And Tua is the one that's got to deal with those consequences, maybe for the rest of his life.
Yeah, CTE is nothing to joke with, and I don't know if he had a say in it. If say, hey, I need to go back out there, or he could be lying to the training staff and going out there with concussion. But I feel like the training staff did have a part to play in by letting him go out there and play with that concussion that he had versus the Bills. But let's talk about Joe Burrow. He had a pretty solid game. He only got, so this is what happens. He only gets sacked once, and look how good he plays. He went 20 for 31, 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. That's a pretty solid game, and they came up with a victory, 15-27. Clash.
Yeah, man.
I mean, Joey had a good game. Nothing flashy. Most of his yards came off of, I think it was like that first play after Tua got hurt. It was like a deep ball to Higgins, I believe. I think it was Higgins.
Yeah, Higgins had a pretty good big game. He had 7 receptions for 124 yards, 1 touchdown.
Because the Dolphins were playing really good with Tua, and then even when the Bridgewater came in, like their offense didn't really take too much of a fall. Like, I still felt like they were in the game and competitive.
Yeah, Bridgewater,
still a good game.
Bridgewater did pretty good. He was 14 of 23, 193 yards, 1 touchdown. Big number right here with Tyreek. He went 10 receptions, 160 yards. So no, that's Tyreek still doing Tyreek things, no matter if you have Tua or not. So, yeah, well, that was just the Tua situation. They need to get that solved. They should easily come home with the win this week versus the Jets, because the Steelers can't even win it versus the Jets, because that's how trash they are.
All right, let's calm down. You got to remember, this is Zach Milfson's second game back, all right? The dude's going to get sturdy on these mothers. Be ready. Nah, but
Let's talk about how. Okay, I want to make a segment. Let's talk about how trash the Steelers are. You know how
let's not do this. Let's not do this.
You know how embarrassing it is to lose to the Jets.
But it's okay. It got our quarterback in the game. Mitch is gone. He's probably already traded to the Cowboys.
He threw for 3 interceptions.
Yeah, but the stats will show they weren't real interceptions. One was a Hail Mary. The other one was Chase's fault. And the other one, who cares?
Well, yeah, at least 2 of those were not on him. One was a Hail Mary at the end of the game, and the other one was literally right through Chase Claypool's hands into the defender's hands. Like, 2 of those aren't on him.
3 interceptions. He threw for 3
See, you say that, but if that was Dak getting passes
Dak,
off his receiver's hands, they're not his fault.
It was the ref. Yeah. Offensive coordinator's fault.
Well, that could have been something good for the Steelers, like you said. I mean, what that did was that got Pickett in the game. That got Pickett to start this week, which is what the Steelers wanted, which is what the fans wanted. I've been a Steelers fan for a long time myself, and I follow the Steelers. And I'm going to say that loud and proud. But what that loss did was it got Pickett in the game, and it got him to start. It probably bought him a couple of starts, and to see what he can do, to see if he is the quarterback of the future. If he is, then they can build the team. They can build the team around him, and they could be solid. But if not, then they're looking for a quarterback in the first round after the season.
man.
after
We're giving
they
my
just
boy
got
Kenny Pickett a chance. All right.
No,
I've been
he's
telling Clashin and Jwow this for a year now. Kenny Pickett season, baby.
no. You told
Right.
it. No. You were right. You predicted he was going to be the pick for the Steelers, but you didn't predict how trash he was going to be.
He led a
one
touchdown drive
game.
his first drive.
It's a Jets. I hope he gets a touchdown versus the Jets.
Be
I-
careful
I-
there, Jay. You might be eating
yeah.
those words this time
Yeah.
next week.
I was gonna say, don't you play the Lions?
Look at
I hope you don't lose.
Lions are way better than the Jets. Don't even compare the
Oh.
Lions and the Jets in
They're
the same
still
sentence.
Lions. They're
All right,
still Lions.
Look at the next 4 games we're gonna have versus the Steelers. Clashin, I want you to give me an honest opinion on what their record would be with their new starting quarterback.
0-4.
They're good.
Yep.
All right, that's all we have to say. I don't even have to say. I don't even have to say him. But I'll
I
say,
think we can get one lucky win. I think we can win one of them, but I don't think we're winning all 4 of them.
I'm gonna say for the
Unless if TJ comes back, we're going 4-0.
Steelers are gonna face the Bills, the Bucks, the Dolphins, and the Eagles in the next 4 games. 0-4,
Oh, man.
40-0,
So-
getting blown out. Steelers are not having a winning season again, or was first time in a while.
But the Dolphins beat the Bills. The Bengals beat the Dolphins. I mean, and the Steelers beat the Bengals. So realistically, based on like the stat, I mean,
No, we're
think-
not basing it off of that.
I mean, where's our Cowboys fan at? Wouldn't he say that's pretty good stats to go off of?
No, that's trash. The Steelers are honestly would say the Panthers are probably better than the Steelers at this point.
Yikes.
Whoa, that's a bold statement.
You know, well, Panthers are better than the Cowboys.
No,
Let's put that out there.
And the funny thing
I'm
is-
gonna throw it out. Speaking of bold statements, I'm gonna throw out there now. Steelers are gonna go 3-1 in that stretch. 3-1.
3-1?
3
That
and
is a
1.
bold statement.
3-1.
Who do you expect?
They're
to
gonna
win?
lose.
Holy.
Who do you
Who-
say they're winning?
Who's their one loss to? Let me ask you that. Who's their one loss to?
Bills. Their one loss will be to the Bills, and then they're gonna roll.
Okay, so you'd say the Eagles, they're going to beat the Eagles. They're going to beat the Bucks. They're going to beat the Dolphins.
All right.
Yeah.
I see the Bucks.
The Bucks have a quarterback that's going through a divorce. His head's not in it. They're going against the Dolphins. By the time they get to the Dolphins and the whole Tua situation, there's so much chaos, and there's going to be so much chaos in that locker room. They're not going to be able to play well. Eagles, by the time we get to that part of the season, that's when they're going to crumble. That's when the Steelers will start building steam. 3-1.
If we get TJ back, I think we have a good chance versus the Eagles.
Okay, well, we're moving on. We just know Steelers. I'm saying Steelers are not making the playoffs at all.
This is going to be Mike
No,
Tomlin's
they're-
first losing season in his entire coaching career.
Yeah, this is it. It's you draft a quarterback and you finally use them. The only player I would root for on the Steelers is Pickens. That's the only player I like on the Steelers. I would get a jersey if I would. That's
Man
all
is a
we do.
menace. He's a menace, Jwow. All right, calm down.
All right. Let's go on to one of the 5 games that we predicted from last week. We had the Jags versus the Eagles, where the Eagles came out with the win, 29-21. Let me pull up the stats from that. I know I had it here. All right, so Trevor Lawrence had a terrible game. He went 11 for 23, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Look at this. Here's the stat out. He got sacked 4 times. He lost 4 fumbles. And, Jalen Hurts went 16 for 25, 204 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interceptions. Only sacks 2 times, lost 1 fumble. But here's where they were going. They ran the ball. Sanders, he ran 27 carries, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, 16 carries, 38 yards, 1 touchdown. Gainwell, 5 carries, 19 yards, 1 touchdown. They went pretty productive on the running side of the game, wouldn't you say, Mclovin?
Yeah, but that's always been our thing, is the run side of the game. It's just the first time we're really showing it this season. I mean, what was it? Like at the Monday Night Football game, we had 4 rushing touchdowns by 4 different players. We look at last year, we were the best rushing team in the league. It was the only thing we were good at, and Hurts was not as good in throwing the ball, and we had no receivers at the time, other than a rookie, Devontae Smith. But it was a good game. Hurts made a terrible decision on that. I think it was the first or second drive when he threw that pick six. He had a wide open Dallas Goedert for like 7 yards. He just tried forcing it in the hole. But, I mean, that's going to happen. It was also terrible weather, raining the entire time. I think that's one of the reasons we relied on the run game even more maybe than usual. But good game. We went down 14-0. Defense does what it normally does, locked up like we've done so far this year. So that's good. We did that with no Darius Slay and a couple other secondary pieces as well, which is very promising. Overall, I really liked our performance. That was the first win I think we actually had to fight for this year. Jaguars are a good team. I mean, they blew out the Chargers 38-10. So we'll see what they do at the end of the year. Doug Peterson's first game back in Philly, and I think we put on a good performance. I'm still not sold on us yet. We'll see how we do against Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, but I think the new Call of Duty is out, so we should be okay against the Cardinals. And then we'll see how we do against the Cowboys because they had our number last year. So we'll see what happens.
Would you say the Eagles are the best team in the NFC currently?
I wouldn't
Easily.
go that far. I wouldn't go that far. I think they overhyped us at the beginning of the season. We've done great so far, but also, I mean, it's too early to tell. There's other teams have had injuries. Other teams have had harder schedules so far. I'm not going to just put us at the top. I mean, a lot of people are, and that's great. But I'm not overhyping this team until I see them play some more stiff competition.
Exactly. Who have they beaten? Okay, they beat they beat the Lions. Okay, Detroit. Yeah, they beat the Lions the first week, who are Detroit Lions. They're on pace to allow more points in NFL history in one season.
Lions are ridiculous because they have the best offense in the league and the worst defense.
Yeah, they're scoring 40 points a game and still losing.
Yeah, 35 points per game, yeah.
Yeah, but they're letting up 40.
Yep.
I know, that's the problem.
You know?
So it's not like they're terrible. Their offense is great.
Yep.
They just haven't beat anybody. They beat Washington, okay, trash. And then they beat the Jaguars. They beat the Jaguars last week, who lost to Washington. So that's even more trash.
I mean, but that same Jaguars team is improving. They 38-10 against the Chargers. And the Vikings, who are 3-1 right now.
Yep, the Vikings.
And the Vikings have beat the Packers. They blew out the Packers to begin the season.
First game of the season.
Yeah, week one, it's week
one.
No.
There is a couple people. I'm just saying it's not enough of a sample size to just name them the NFC champions right away. But I do like our team. I think our team is easily a top 2 or 3 team in the NFC right now.
Y'all's defense is really good. Y'all got a really good
Way
defense.
improved.
Yeah, so I wonder when the Cowboys do face the Eagles in 2 weeks, how that game is going to line up defensively. That's what I'm more excited to see. 2 great defenses going at it. So, what are your thoughts on it, Clashin? You think they're the best in the NFC currently?
Yeah, I think they're the best in the NFC East. In the NFC overall, I don't know. I mean, San Francisco seems like they might be figuring out some stuff. I don't really have a lot of faith in anyone else. So I think the Eagles are a top 3 or 4 team in all of the NFC.
And Mclovin was the only one to pick this game correct. Me and Clashin picked the Jags. While
Hey,
McLovin
it was looking good early. They were winning like 13-0.
Yeah, it was looking great. All right, so we're going to move on to the next game where we had the Buffalo Bills versus the Ravens. Buffalo Bills came out with the win 23-20. Ravens choked a 20-3 lead, which that's all they're known for this year, just choking leads.
The Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons are they're destined to choke leads like this. But the Dolphins, I see a pattern here. I mean, not the Dolphins. The Ravens, I see a pattern with them, such as the Dolphins and then the Bills now.
I would say with the Ravens game, again, you can't take all the blame on or put all the blame on the defense. That offense really didn't do anything either. I mean, you go back and look at it. That defense is what gave the Ravens 2 of their scores. Put him within the red zone right away to start the game. 1 within the 3-yard line. And you're talking about offensive Ravens teams. They get hot early in the games, but this and the Dolphins game, they just cannot even get a first down in the second half. It's ridiculous. Like, yeah, the defense needs to play better at times, but you also can't expect your defense to just hold a 20-point lead when they helped you get that lead. You're not going to hold a team like the Bills or the Dolphins down for 4 quarters. You got to keep your foot on the gas pedal. You can't just, I don't know. I feel like the offensive coordinator also gets too conservative.
Clash.
I didn't watch this game, but it just seems like, well, I give the Ravens credit. At least like they're competitive. It's just they're choking in the second half. I did pick the Bills the win. I didn't think they were gonna win looking at the halftime score, but they pulled it off.
Let me ask you this: what are your guys' opinion on the coaching call to not kick a field goal to go up 3 late in the game when you have Justin Tucker as your kicker and it's like a 30-yard kick with 3 minutes left?
You have the greatest kicker out there, and you're
Ever.
not going to kick. Yeah, ever, and you're not going to kick the ball. That's.
I think it was because where they were at. I would have kicked the field goal. Take the points when you can. Which
Absolutely.
I don't know what the play calling. The Ravens are known for doing that kind of stuff, but I would have took the points.
I would have taken the points as well. Would you say the same, Shady?
Absolutely. You never take points off the board. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. You don't take points off of the board. But they were trying to go for the kill and try to get the 6, but it was the wrong decision. You never take the points off the board, and they should have kicked that field goal. I watched that game, and the Ravens do what the Ravens do. They self-destruct. When they start getting frustrated, you can see him getting frustrated. Marcus Peters at the end of the game, he was getting up in Harbaugh's face. They're self-destructing all the way around, all from the inside out. That's what the Ravens do. They self-destruct. When they start getting frustrated, everything just falls to pieces. And that's what the Bills were able to do, and so, you can put some fault on the offensive coordinator being too conservative, but the offense didn't execute. They just weren't putting up points. I don't know if the weather had anything to do with it. It was rainy. It was sloppy. Lamar Jackson's not known for being a passer. So I don't know if that played in any kind of factor into it. But either way, once the Bills got the Ravens frustrated, then they had them. They knew they had them. But yes, absolutely should have kicked that field goal. Never, ever take points off the board.
100%. Yeah. So we're going to move into the Cowboys game. Washington versus the Cowboys. Cowboys came home with a win, 25-10. Cooper Rush is now 4-0 as a starter, 3-0 this season. And Dak is maybe to return this week versus the Rams. It depends on how his hands is feeling. But how about them Cowboys? They're back.
To be honest,
They're back every year.
No,
I don't think the Cowboys team plays any better than they are right now with Dak Prescott. I think they're just fine.
So they wouldn't have won.
No, I'm saying they're just as fine with Cooper Rush. I don't think they play any better or worse with Dak Prescott.
So with people saying Cooper Rush should be the starter, my thoughts on that was saying Cooper Rush is not doing something crazy, like putting up crazy numbers like 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, just crazy big numbers. But he's not doing anything wrong to say like he's having 2 interceptions a game, an interception. He hasn't thrown an interception this season yet. So it's usually throwing about 200 to 250 yards a game, what you need. And running game didn't do much this game, so it was mostly a Cooper Rush getting to his big connections. CD Gallup is now back, but yeah, it was. I think the Cowboys are back. If Romo comes back, we're definitely back, and we're about to take over the NFC.
And if Romo comes back?
No, Dak.
You just said Romo.
All right, I'm Dak. I'm sorry. I was thinking about the situation with Romo and Dak back in 2016.
Which is about to happen.
No, it's not.
Oh man. Now they're gonna start Dak, but I don't think they're gonna be any better of Dak than they are of Rush. I'm not high on Dak at all. I think he's an average quarterback. That's just me.
Average?
Yeah, I think he's average, and when you're throwing 50 times a game, you're gonna have great stats. That's what I think.
What would you say, Clashin? Do you think he's just average, or what would you consider average?
Okay.
To give me a top 15, top 16.
I think he's Kirk Cousins level, right around there.
I don't know what that is. You're gonna have to tell me what that is.
He's good at times and he's terrible at other times, and he throws up good numbers.
Put him in a big game, he's trash.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's won big games before.
He's lost a lot more than he's won.
Yeah, he's like 2-14 or something like that.
No, he's not.
He has a losing record in big games. That's all I'll say. But I think the Cowboys are going to be in a top 2 to 3 seed at the end of the regular season. But like every year, they'll lose in the playoffs. Something will happen. They'll blame the refs. Then
that's what
next year will be their year.
Anybody saying, like Stephen A. Smith says the same thing over and over. Oh, just wait, just wait. I mean,
But-
you could say that for 31 other teams. All you can say
Here's-
is just wait.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Cowboys have done this for 20-something years now. They're literally good every season and then fail in playoffs every single time. It's not like a once or twice thing where they're like losing in the
Yeah.
every time they get to their first playoff game. They could have an undefeated season and they're gonna lose their first playoff game. That's just how the Cowboys roll, man.
No,
It's just how they
because
roll.
No, because the people that say, oh, they always lose the first game. No, because I was there when they won the wild card in 2018 versus the Seahawks. They win. They usually get to the divisional round. The divisional round
Most
is
of
when
the
they
time,
just tank.
yeah, but most of the time they've had a bye to the divisional round.
No.
Yes.
Okay. So
look at most of the years.
2014, they beat the Lions in the wild card to get divisional. 2016, they had the bye. They lost in divisional. 2018, they won the wild card for Seahawks, got in the divisional. 2021, they lost the wild card. That's all I'm gonna say.
To the team I said was going to make the NFC Championship game, and no one believed me. 49ers. The 49ers are scary because, like, you knew they were good because even when Jimmy G played like crap, they were always in the games just because of their defense and their run game. Like,
Yeah, there's a.
Well, Dallas can't beat the top teams in the NFC. Dallas can't beat your Green Bays. They can't beat your San Francisco.
wait, hear me out, Shady. Dallas can in the regular season, but you get them in a playoff game, they're gonna find a way to throw it away. That's just how they roll.
The same with Aaron Rodgers. He's gonna throw it away in an NFC Championship game.
Yeah, but I've never hyped up Aaron Rodgers.
It's just different. No, it's just you haven't hyped up Aaron Rodgers. You never said he was the greatest quarterback ever.
I have not said that. I said he's the greatest talent.
That's almost the same
No,
thing
we
as
have
saying he's
had-
the greatest quarterback.
No, it isn't. We've had this discussion before, Jay. Well, there's a difference between talent and career. Completely different. Completely different.
No, if
I'll,
we're
I'll,
talking
add,
accolades,
I'll add
yes.
to it. I'll add to it and say that the Cowboys can't win the gotta have it games. They can't win the gotta have it games.
Yes.
They can't win in the playoffs, and they can't win if it's a game to get into the playoffs. They
right.
lost to Washington like two times where they needed a win to get into playoffs.
What year?
If it's a gotta have it game, the Cowboys are gonna lose. Bottom line.
Yeah,
All right,
it must
Shady,
have been a long time ago because Cowboys haven't
Clash-
lost.
Clash and Shady. We'll let Jwow save this moment for when the Cowboys lose in the playoffs. All right, let's just he can save this clip because he is gonna. They are gonna disappoint him, and he's gonna be depressed for the whole offseason again. Just be ready, it's gonna happen.
Just know it's the ref's fault.
It's to get into the playoffs.
Just know it's the ref's fault because he stumbled over the lineman and then he couldn't. He moved the ball back and forth 3 times. That saved another 2 seconds right there. And then by the time if they would have snapped it off.
I think it's the play. Whoever decided to do a quarterback draw when you have no timeouts and have to go 50 yards to the end zone.
It was a good play. It's just the ref, and you know how they stay on top of him longer. And I think that should be a flag of like unsportsmanlike conduct. If you're like delaying the game as a player, like kind of just laying on top of him, over excessive stuff. You know,
flag.
that should be a penalty for like over excessive stuff. Like if you're just laying on top of him, get up. Go line up. We gotta go.
That is in the penalty. That is on the books. They do throw that flag.
No, because
It's got to be excessive amount of time. It wasn't
there's
excessive.
way excessive stuff, and they still don't throw it.
I know there's not gonna hit everything, Joel. You're not gonna call every penalty all the time.
There's no okay. Just mark it now. Cowboys are going. They're winning the division, but they can't win it without Dak. So mark that down. If they let's say if Cooper Rush he plays this game versus the Rams, he wins the Rams, plays the Eagles and they lose. Now they're in a hard spot to go win the division because the Eagles would be in a good position and they have that one win over them, that head to head. But I feel like I feel like Jerry Jones is like he's keeping something to stick with Cooper Rush, and I don't think that's the right move. Cooper Rush is good. Keep him in the moment. He's on fire right now. He's not making any mistakes. But if you put Dak in there, I think Dak will get you where you need to go. So yeah, they're making the playoffs. They're winning the division.
We didn't say making the playoffs. No, we said are they winning it all? Or are they gonna fail in the playoffs like they usually do?
They're winning it
Oh
all.
my God, Clash! You hear this?
Hey,
Do you hear this, Clash?
If they're going to Arizona for the Super Bowl, you'll see me there.
I'll be there too, rooting against.
Oh,
them
we're
'cause they're
picking
not gonna be there.
Super Bowl picks? All right, since
Super
he's
Bowl
going
picks, yeah.
Cowboys, I'm gonna go with the
Cowboys and
Steelers
Bills.
this year.
Cowboys and
Oh
Bills.
I think it's going to be the Steelers. Steelers versus Cowboys in the Super Bowl. That's plus 90,000.
Kenny Pickett season, baby. Let's get it
Yeah.
winning out from
If
here on
Kenny
out.
Pickett beats Dak in the Super Bowl this year,
So you're
We gotta
predicting
clip
Steelers
this.
and
We gotta-
Cowboys for the
we gotta
Super
clip this.
Bowl.
You're both insane.
So that's your
yeah, that's why I
your
went
pick?
with the Steelers. We're going with long shots, so I want the Steelers.
So you're going, who they facing? Who they facing for the Super Bowl though?
You
The
didn't catch
Cowboys.
his joke? He just said, "Oh, we're going for long shot picks." That's why he chose the
No, no,
Steelers
no,
because
no,
you
no.
chose
We're
the
going
Cowboys.
for your pick. So I picked Cowboys versus Bills.
Oh
Clash
my
and pick
god!
The Steelers versus Cowboys. Oh, that's 2 picks for the Cowboys in the Super Bowl right there. What do y'all got?
I'll go Bills and who do I want out the NFC? You know what? I haven't lost faith in them. Give me Bills and Rams.
The Rams.
The Rams are.
I haven't lost faith in them.
Rams.
They lost to
I
the
mean-
49ers.
Yeah,
The
oh well.
49ers handed
They
it
lost
to
to the
them last night.
49ers. They lost to the 49ers twice last year in the regular season. Who made the Super Bowl?
Yeah, but.
Yeah, but what? Yeah, they lost
With a-
both
with a
times in
Jimmy
the
G
regular
in the
season.
bum shoulder.
Yeah, but
You
one,
couldn't throw 10
okay,
yards.
hey, we'll see how good of a Rams team this is if they lose to Cooper Rush.
Oh, I don't think they're super great, but guess what? I'm not choosing the Eagles. I'm not jinxing that. What do you mean? I'm going with the Rams.
Oh, so he's going with the Rams so the Eagles can make the Super Bowl. That's what he's doing.
Exactly.
All right,
Exactly.
Shady. Who you going with the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl's going to be Green Bay Buffalo. Green Bay Buffalo.
So we have
A
three.
real pick.
We have three picks of Bills going for the Super Bowl and 1 Steelers. That guy's crazy.
Well, you picked the Cowboys, so don't call me crazy.
You picked the Cowboys as well.
Well, yeah, because we were going long shots. I'm a
No,
gambler.
We're not going with long shots. We're going with real picks.
I think he's saying his is as realistic
Alright,
as
so-
yours is.
Yeah, mine's as realistic as yours. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right. Well, okay. Sunday Night Football.
Let's move on.
Yeah, we're moving on. Moving on. Cowboys are making the Super Bowl. They're winning all. That's my opinion.
Ugh.
All right, we're moving to Sunday
think
Night
that's later.
Football. Moving to Sunday Night Football. We had the Chiefs versus the Bucks. Chiefs came home with a win, 41-31. Tom, he had a pretty.
He had a great game. He didn't play bad at all, other than the fumble.
He had his 3 receivers back from injury. So
And they actually did something on offense for once. You saw that 31 points. Pretty
31
good compared to what they had been averaging 17 a game without them. So 31 points is a big step up. But I mean, their defense, what was supposed to be a good defense, just got absolutely crapped on by Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, Clashin.
Yeah, good game. Lots of points. Tampa Bay played a pretty good game. I mean, they didn't convert on a few third downs, but like versus most teams, they win that. But the Chiefs were just, you couldn't stop them all night.
I think it was those 2 fumbles that cost them. The one on the kickoff at the beginning of the game that gave the Chiefs, inside the 30 to start the game? And then you had the other one on Tom Brady that also put the Chiefs inside the Buccaneers 30. That's 2 fumbles that already puts them in field goal range, and you know they're going to score
2
those.
scores right there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Shady.
Well, Patrick Mahomes did Patrick Mahomes things. I mean, that guy makes unbelievable plays. But yeah, I mean, you take those 2 fumbles away, you take that kickoff away, that fumble on the kickoff, you take those 2 fumbles away, it's a completely different game. But the game, it was what it was, and Kansas City was the better team by far, and Patrick Mahomes just literally did what Patrick Mahomes did and did Patrick Mahomes things. I mean, the guy is amazing. I mean, I don't like him, but I give credit where credit is due, and he outplayed Brady. I mean, of course, I don't think Brady's head's in it. He's had to hire a divorce lawyer this week, and I mean, the guy, he's just, his life is just going to pieces. So I don't see his head in it. But the game went the way. I mean, the Chiefs manhandled them. If you put them in a different game, and you don't have that fumble on the opening kickoff, because something like that really saps your energy. At the beginning of the game, you're hyped up, you're jazzed up, you have a lot of energy, and on that opening kickoff, you have something like that happen. It just literally saps all that energy away. So, you take something like that away, and those two teams play again. You have a completely different game. Granted that there's no fumble on the opening kickoff.
I will say this: last time the Chiefs and Bucks played in the regular season, the Chiefs whooped on the Bucks too, and then they played in the Super Bowl that year, and the Bucks whooped on the Chiefs. So I mean, like you were saying, Shady, you can change at the drop of a hat with less momentum, man. And those two fumbles were big. I think I was really more impressed with the Bucks offense that game than anything, having those receivers back, because I think that's a good sign for them more than it is like I knew what the Chiefs could do already offensively. I think the Buccaneers really showed that if Brady can stay playing like he did against the Chiefs, they'll still be a contender in the they come out of the NFC again.
Yeah, I see them. Chiefs. If the Chiefs become the Chiefs, how they were for the past 4 or 5 years, going to the AFC Championship game, and maybe a different overtime rules, the Bills. I think the Bills would probably take the Chiefs over. So it's gonna be a good one. We got a long season. We got a long season go left. We're going to talk about the Monday Night Football game with the 49ers and the Rams. 49ers came home with a win, 24-9. Jimmy G is 6-0 in the regular season. Let me might add, in the regular season versus the Rams. So we're going to start off there.
I mean, what can you say? I mean, they put a whooping on them. Rams could do anything. It was you look at that offense, and it's literally Cooper Kupp and absolutely no one else. I mean, it's kind of impressive that the dude still gets over 100 yards every game because he's getting double, triple covered every play. But I mean, it just works. Allen Robinson's been a huge disappointment for the Rams. I mean, you're talking about a guy you bringing in 1,000-yard receiver every year. You expect him to do something, and I mean, dude can't even get 20 yards a game. I mean. They don't have anything. They don't have a run game. It's just Cooper Kupp and no one else.
Yep.
Clashin?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at last year, the Rams, they still had Robert Woods and they had Odell Beckham, which exactly what you were saying. It took the attention off of Cooper Kupp. They had to pay attention to those guys. You had to pay attention to Odell. You had to pay attention to Robert Woods, which means you had to pay less attention to Cooper Kupp. This year, like you said, Allen Robinson, he's a flop. They have absolutely nobody else, so they can double and triple. And like you said, I mean, he's playing his butt off to get 100 yards every game. But there's hardly any running game. I mean, the Rams are still a good team because of their defense. Their defense is still amazing, but I tell you what, Deebo Samuel, man, that guy is one heck of a player. One heck of a player. He's absolutely outstanding and amazing. I mean, the things that he did last year, I mean, you knew the guy was getting the ball. Nobody else was getting the ball. You knew that guy was getting the ball. But Kyle Shanahan just put him all over the field, and put him in good positions. And that's what Kyle Shanahan does, is put him in good positions to be successful. And that's what he does. And, I mean, Deebo, like I was saying with Patrick Mahomes, Deebo did what Deebo does and did Deebo things last night and played absolutely outstanding. And it's that instantly, and if the 49ers defense, they played solid against the Rams, which do have a average offense. The 49ers defense is going to get better. So I definitely see the 49ers as of right now, top 3 team in the NFC as of now. I mean, it might all change in 6 weeks, but as of now, I mean, they're on fire. They have the chemistry, they have the mojo, they have the coaching, and they have the skill players at the skill positions. So, they put a whooping on the Rams last night. They really did.
Flash.
Yeah. I think the Niners are getting better. I think most of that is because Jimmy G is playing. Debo's Debo, so always expect good things from him. But the Rams, they're making Odell stock rise. Maybe Odell was the reason that team was good. The Rams have the rushing game. I haven't seen Akers show up once yet. Cooper Kupp always gets his stats. You can count on him. Yeah, that's all I got. Allen Robinson, trash.
He's played like trash. Been complete garbage for supposed to be a 1,000-yard receiver.
All right, before we finish up on the show, we're going to do NFL Week 5 picks, quick picks. We got 5 games we're going to pick from. All right, we're going to start off with Colts versus the Broncos on Thursday Night Football. Clashin, who you got taking that game? Let's ride.
Two bad teams, I think. Two overhyped teams. The Colts did beat the Chiefs, but they are losing to teams they shouldn't be losing to. Taylor just hasn't been showing up whatsoever. So this could be a pretty boring game, but I'm gonna go with the Colts.
Colts. You going with the Colts, Shady?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Colts. Denver, they got a new coach, they got a new quarterback. It takes a while to find their way, to find their identity. They haven't found it yet. The Colts, they've had the coach, they got a new quarterback, but a former NFL MVP quarterback. So he's no rookie. So, and like I said, they beat the Chiefs. So if they come out and play like they're capable of, they should the Colts should roll over Denver pretty easily.
Mclovin?
Well, I was gonna pick the Colts to be different, but since y'all want to pick the Colts, I'm actually gonna go Broncos because why not? They're at home, all right. And I'm not doing let's ride because Russell Wilson is straight booty cheeks. Geno Smith is playing better with that Seattle team than Russell Wilson has in years, all right. But I'm still gonna go with the Broncos. I know they just lost their number 1 running back to I think it was an ACL tear, but I think that defense really, if anything, will find a way to get it done. So I'll go Broncos.
Yeah, I'm going to Broncos as well. Broncos country. Let's ride.
Ride.
Let's ride. All right, now we're going to Sunday's games. Cowboys versus Rams. Who we got clashing?
Who's the quarterback for the Cowboys this week?
Let's do 2 picks. Let's say if you have Cooper Rush in and Dak in.
Where's the game? Where's the game at?
It's in Los Angeles.
Can I make a side note real quick on that? From something I read today, that Jerry Jones came out and said today that Dak Prescott still can't grip the football. So
not well
the whole
enough to play,
the whole Dak Prescott thing possibly playing, wipe that off the table. It'll be Cooper Rush. So just count on that.
I can make a difference in your pick right there.
Yeah, I know, because it was. If Dak plays, we're losing.
Yep.
100%.
He's not gonna play though. He's not gonna play.
I know. We're just making a point to Jwow.
Okay.
He said Jerry Jones said the possibility's still out there. It said right now, but he went to go check. Dak Prescott went to go check up on another doctor, get his checkup on. But this was in the morning when Jerry Jones said that announcement, so we don't know what the doctor said.
I'm gonna go with the Rams. This is the game we turn around. I think the Rams defense is gonna clap Cooper Rush's cheeks. I think the Cowboys are gonna get blown out. That's why I'm gonna go 38 to 16 or some weird score.
Wow, 38 points on the Cowboys defense. That's impressive.
All right, Shady.
I can't ever go with the Cowboys. I go with every. I go with whoever's playing against the Cowboys, so not the Cowboys.
All right, that's an easy one. McLovin?
I'm going Rams by a score of 24-20.
24-20? All right,
Yep.
I'm picking Cooper Rush is in, they're losing. If Dak's in, they're winning. That's what I'm saying. And then, all right, next game, Steelers versus Bills. So we've that's a pretty easy one. Clashin.
Yeah. Well, Kenny, I think our offense is actually going to be able to put up some points, but is our defense going to be able to stop anything? I'm going to say no. I think it's going to be the Bills, 42 to 27.
Shady.
Bills. As I said earlier, we were talking about the Steelers. I see this. I'm saying it. It's bold. My bold prediction: the Steelers are going to go 3-1 this next 4 games, but this one loss is coming this week to the Bills.
Who we on?
Yep.
Bills and Steelers?
Bills versus Steelers.
Bills, and I don't need to say anything else.
Okay. Yeah. Bills. That's all I gotta say. Easy. Sunday Night Football. We get the Bengals versus the Ravens. Clashin.
Bengals against the Ravens.
Yes.
Ravens.
Shady.
I'm going with the Bengals. The Ravens are frustrated. They're self-imploding. They're not good. They're all Cincinnati's got to do is just get them a little bit more frustrated, and it's ball game. I'm going with Cincinnati.
11.
Where are they playing at?
They're playing in Baltimore.
Ravens.
I'm going with, since the Ravens screwed me over last game, I'm going with the Bengals this game. And then our final game we're wrapping up for our picks. We got the Raiders versus the Chiefs. Clashin.
I think this is probably the easiest one besides the Steelers. Chiefs.
Shady.
Yeah, easiest one here is Chiefs roll on this one. Big.
Who are the Chiefs playing again?
The Raiders.
I'm gonna go with the upset. Give me the Raiders. Why not? Probably gonna lose, but I'll take it.
All right. I'm going with the easy one. I'm going with the Chiefs. And to recap our standings for the picks, all three of us are 2-4.
Trash.
Yes,
Yeah,
all trash at picking
we're pretty
games.
bad at this.
Yeah, so don't, if you're going on the sports books, going off of our picks, it's probably best not to go off our picks. So, yes, it's been a great show. I want to give a big shout out to Shady. Thanks for coming on the show as our first guest. It was a very productive show, lots of stuff to talk about, and yeah, it was a thanks for coming on, Shady.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Had a blast. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys tonight on a wet Tuesday night here. But I had a lot of fun and enjoyed it. So thank you for having me. And I'll talk to you guys again and hang out again.
Yes, sir. And Mclovin, you got any last words?
Let's ride.
Let's ride. Clashin?
I got no words.
Of course you don't got no words. You always got to be the bad guy around here. All right.
A man of many words.
A man of many words. Crashing, clashing. He's the guy. So you got to go off based on what he says. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, guys. This is a production of the J&J Media, brought to you by Minute Peach Framing Designs and Gift Shops.